Okay, guys, we are live. I'm so excited. Sorry about the glasses. I have some kind of allergic reaction going on. I think it's all of the new skincare I got for Christmas, so that sucks. But I really want to jump in because we have a lot to cover today. And the place I want to start is realizing that, okay, today's January 23rd. We're still in the year of the snake, which is 2025 energy, which is the snake is all about releasing, willingly or unwillingly. It's happening anyway, right? So we want the year of the horse, which is the fire horse, which is 2026. However, if you're still feeling like it was the new year and you were shedding and it still doesn't feel like you're like horse energy, like where is it? It's because it actually technically doesn't start until February 17th. So, does that give you some relief? Do you feel better now? Because the year of the snake is still going on. And this last, have heard so many people talking about this online. This last like month ish that we've got left, 3 weeks, is going to be, it's going to be more releasing. Let's put it that way. It's going to be propelling you forward, pushing you towards that fire horse. So, if you feel like the urge to purge things, to throw away things, to like start new habits and like ditch these bad habits that you're just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's the right energy. So we want to go with that. And I think why I'm bringing it up here is because when you can understand the energy that's going on, you don't feel number one, so alone. But number two, you can name what's happening to you. You can name why you feel like purging everything, why you feel like reorganizing your every drawer in your house. Like this energy makes sense. So the snake is all about release. These last couple of weeks, you're going to be intensely feeling that release. But then the fire horse, which starts on February 17th, is all about action, expansion, confidence, moving forward. Think fire horse. Like, just think about that in your head. Like, you can imagine the kind of energy that we've got going behind us right now. So, we're getting pushed out of the snake year into this fire horse. So, if you feel like everything is getting intense in the next 3 weeks, welcome to the club. Same. So, this is a great time to maximize this energy. And what we can do to honor the year of the snake, because again, everybody's kind of looking at the snake like, this sucks. I did the same thing. This sucks, whatever. But when you really look at it, you can kind of understand that it's there for a reason. That year was a year of so much growth for me, and I bet you guys, if you think about it, you will feel the same. So think about everything that you were able to reflect on, which is why I'm labeled January. If you haven't watched the January challenge video from the beginning of this month, please do it, because that's why January is about reflection, because we're reflecting on what doesn't belong, on what's not going to come with us. What patterns am I ready to leave behind? Was a question I just wrote down. And it's so good. What patterns do I want to leave behind? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Of course, this is all going to be about health and wellness and all that, but this is how you can use the energy that's already going on to propel yourself forward. So, what's also not coming with you? What's not coming with you into this year of the fire horse? What do you want to leave and shed and just release? There's so many different things and so many different facets of your life, so many different areas where you can be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done with this. I'm not thinking this way. And just kind of leave it. And these next 3 weeks, as we lead into February, are going to be amazing for helping you reflect and see with a neon sign what no longer needs to come. And that's why this is so amazing. And this is why I'm so glad that we're talking about this now on the 23rd. And whenever you watch this, this is where you can really maximize on what's actually happening right now, energetically, astrology, cosmically, you know? And if you're able to tap into that, you're going to be using it correctly, which means nothing is bad, nothing is negative. Like the snake was about release. Good. That stuff had to go. So let it go, right? So this is also cosmically. we're starting the Aquarius season, the season of Aquarius, which I found out today hasn't happened since 1861. So someone was like, this is Civil War energy. It's like, yeah. So we're now moving into this place. So all of these things are happening. Let's go with it. Let's go with it. It's like trying to swim against the tide. It's like, why? Why try to swim against the tide when you can just go with it and ride the wave, right? So that's what we're doing here. And the main point of today's class, master class is what I'm calling it. If the way we think changes, our reality changes. So if the way we think about things changes, weight loss, health, diet, the scale, body image, how you look, how you feel, all the things, if we change how we think about it, our reality changes. Our life literally changes, right? That's why you could do a diet 17 times and it just doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, something clicks and everything falls into place. Let me move you guys over. There we go. That's why you could be doing something a million times and it just doesn't work. And then all of a sudden it does. And that's why you could do 17 weight loss journeys, 1,700 weight loss journeys in your life, like me. And all of a sudden it works and it clicks and you're 65 pounds down and you've been maintaining it for 5+ years. It can happen at any time. But I'm telling you, the way you think has to change in order for your circumstances and your reality, your 3D, what you see right now to change. And I love it. As within, so without. As within, what we think, what we resonate with, what we believe, that's what we get every single time. Every single time. So I really want everybody, this is going to be a lot of thinking. Like I want you to watch this. And this is kind of like how I frame the master classes is I want you to watch it with me. And then I want you to grab a journal or grab something where you can make notes and come back and kind of skim through it again. Even if you don't watch it at normal speed, you can speed it up. But think about these questions. Like let your mind start thinking about them right now. So if how we think about things is what we see, and if what you see is not what you like, so if you're not liking the results you're getting, if you're not liking your food, if you're not liking the process, if you feel like it should be going faster, if you're miserable eating the food you're eating, whatever is happening in your weight loss journey, if you're just not, it's not the vibe, we have to look within. It's nothing outside of us. It's not the new Pilates workout. It's not a new walking pad that's going to fix it. It's not the new workout set that's going to fix it. Those things can help spark joy, but they're not going to fix it if we inside don't believe, number one, it's going to work. Number two, we can do it and it can be easy and we can enjoy it and we can actually maintain it. Like if we don't believe those things, the outside is going to mirror what we believe always, as within, so without. So, how are you thinking about all the different areas of weight loss? You can even make a list like, okay, weight loss in general. How do you feel about that? Health in general. Like, what do you believe is possible for you? Do you believe you can be healthy and vibrant and live a long time and not be plagued by disease or, things that might be hereditary for you? Do you believe that you can have that? Do you believe that's a possibility? How do you feel about the scale? Do you hate it? Or is it just a tool to measure? See what I mean? What do you think about healthy food? What does healthy food mean to you? Disgusting, blah, gross, hate it. Or I like healthy food because I like how I feel after I eat it. See what I mean? You're definitely going to fall. And when you write down, be completely honest with yourself. If you're going to do this in journal, which is what I totally recommend, be honest. Be honest with yourself. And it's usually the first thing that comes into your brain as I'm talking and asking the question. How do you really feel about this? Not what you think somebody else is going to deem as good. Or if I read it back, Kat would approve of this. Don't care about me. Literally, this is about you and you only. Because there's no use lying to yourself about how you actually feel. Because once you get really clear on how do I actually feel, then you can start the healing process. Then you can start redirecting those thoughts to something better. Then you can say, wow, I think really negatively about this weight loss journey. No crap, I'm getting this shitty results. No, like no wonder, no wonder this is happening to me. And then you can kind of go, Oh, because if you're not getting results that you like, it's based on something that you believe and something that you're thinking every time in all areas of your life, not just this one. But think about that. So, if you answered honestly to yourself, 100% honest, what would you say? What's the first thing that pops into your head when you think about these things? And so you can branch out. You can say like exercise. How do I feel about water? How do I feel about what does it mean to me when I don't hit the goal when I said I would and things like that. Go throughout your day and think about the things that kind of like kick you off balance when you're like, "Oh, shoot." And that's the scale, that's your food, that's weight loss in general, that's what you believe for your health, that's what you believe for your longevity in life. What do you believe long term can be yours? Health, or are you like, "Well, everybody in my family gets this, so I'll probably get this in my 50s," you know? What are your underlying beliefs and thoughts around all the different areas of weight loss and health? And then if you want to take it a step further, which I totally recommend, think about recently, like I would say in the past week or 2 weeks, has anything happened in your day to day to get you thinking a not so good thought or to get you thinking like what I would call the old way? Like we know better now. Anybody who's here with me, you've got your mindset thinking about a new way of weight loss. You're already thinking like, okay, I know I have to think and reframe these thoughts. I know I got to think about this differently to get new results. That's not a new concept. But the reason why I'm bringing it up here is because we're going to kind of go into explaining it and we're taking it a step further and further and further, like usual. So, has anything happened recently to get you thinking in the old way? Did the scale spike up and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm freaking out. I don't like this. I can't gain weight." And you get like that white knuckle feeling. You get nervous, you get anxious. You're like, "No, this can't happen." And it kind of feels like doom and gloom, dread. Do you beat yourself up over a food choice? Did you make a choice that wasn't so good and you were like, "I'm just going to have this pizza and that's it and I deserve it and I can have it and I've been so good." And then afterwards you're like, "I messed up. That was bad. That was a bad food. I'm not allowed to have that." Did your brain go somewhere to make you feel guilty, regret, anxious, maybe feelings of like a little bit nervous to like maybe weigh in? You know, did you have a nighttime eating episode where you're like, "Why did I do that? I've been doing so well. Why did I do that?" Are you trying to calm an emotion and you've been doing really well with it, but then all of a sudden you defaulted back to the chips or the ice cream or just like saying F it in general and just kind of falling off track for a little bit? Did something happen recently to get you thinking in your old way, putting you back into the old patterns that maybe you thought were better? Because if so, I'm so glad you're here. That's why we're here. So this isn't meant to, anytime I call out things like that, the reason is because we're here to work through it together. Like that's the whole point of this. So that's why I said be honest with yourself when you're journaling. Be honest with yourself here because that's where the growth happens, right? And that's where it's so amazing. And that's why I love a group like this where I can talk like this because it puts you in the driver's seat of your journey. You're able to hold accountability for yourself because now you get to say, okay, I'm pulling out my journal, me, myself, and I'm looking at it. Cat's not looking over my shoulder. My partner's not looking over my shoulder. There's no therapist looking over my shoulder. It's like, no, it's just you. So be honest with yourself. And same thing, look at what happened recently in your life. Has anything really set you off? Because when these things happen, that's the growth. That's where we get to say, ooh, why did this happen? And that's why you should never look at an incident like that and feel guilty. You should look at it and be like, whoa, okay, let's work on this. Like, let's make sure this doesn't happen again. I thought I was solid in that. I guess I'm not. Let's double down. Let's get to work. Let's do this. And that's what I mean by this is the work because it's not like, okay, take your 1,500 calorie day and you got to go down to 1,000 because you got to lose weight. No, we're not restricting more. We're not doing more cardio. We're not trying carnivore for the 80th time, hoping that we'll drop 5 pounds in 2 days. We're not doing that because we know that that's not sustainable. The mindset work is what's sustainable. So if you're falling off track, despite knowing what to do and wanting to do it and wanting your goal, this is the work. And that's why I'm so obsessed with all of this. Um, but anyway, when you have a a moment where you're thinking the old way, there's such a tug of war, right? You feel it. You feel it because you're like, why am I doing this? I know better. But you get pulled back into that old pattern and you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. It's the old logic, it's the old you versus logical you who's sitting here right now knowing what to do and wondering why you can't do it. Like you're so logical. You're like, this doesn't make any sense. That, my friends, is your brain. That's your mindset. And the only thing we need to do is redirect it. And that's why it's so fun. And that's why I want you to get excited when these things happen and don't look at it as a downfall. Look at it as, ooh, this is really fun. We're going to clear this once and for all. We're going to get this done. And if it's resurfacing, even better because it's just an echo. It's just an echo of an old thought. And those are so easy to get rid of. So, so, so easy. So we want to reframe those thoughts. And if something like this happened to you recently, comment it down below so we can reframe it. And comment anything that came into your mind where you're like, ooh, I don't want to believe that. That doesn't make any sense. I don't like that thought. So then we want to look at that. So it's in my course. If you have Less Weight, Better Life, it's in there as how to reframe negative thoughts. But we're going to just do like a little mini lesson on it now because it's really only a couple of questions, a handful of questions, like 3 or 4 questions. So you first want to ask yourself, is this actually true? So if you were like me and you grew up seeing everyone in your life, it felt like struggling to lose weight. And they were constantly going on and off of a diet. They were constantly in good moods or bad moods, depending on where they were at with their results, where they were at with their diet. And it was like this horrible cycle of just over and over and over again. It just kept repeating. I internalized, wow, being healthy is hard. Weight loss is even harder. And maintaining it, hell no, that's not possible. So, of course, I just recreated that in my young adult life until I attacked that whole set of thinking. And I was like, wait a minute. And I asked myself these questions. Is this actually true? Is weight loss hard? No, because other people are doing it. So then I looked outside, I zoomed out a little bit and I'm like, well, other people are doing it. Other people are living healthy lives. They don't seem to be completely disheveled and distraught and hating everything about it. They kind of seem happy. They're healthy. They're going to live a long time. They're going to be good. And so I was like, okay, maybe this can be true. But then I was like, okay, what else can't be? What else do I need to ask? Is this true? Is it true that, losing weight has to be hard? No. Is it true that maintenance has to be hard? No. Is it true that kind of like the no pain, no gain. Like if you're not completely restricted and miserable, it's not going to work. Is that true? Like, no, it doesn't have to be. So then that kind of made my mind start thinking like, okay, maybe this can be different. Just because this is what I saw doesn't mean it's what I have to, number one, recreate, but number two, believe. I can believe something different for myself. So that was question one. And then number two, for all of these little bullet points, I would say, do I even want to believe this? I know I've been believing it and I've created a belief like down in my subconscious, but do I actually want to believe this moving forward? No. I don't want to believe that weight loss is hard because I want something different. I don't want it to be hard, so I need to stop believing that it is. And then think about this for every one of your questions. Do I want to believe this is true? Do I want to believe it's a struggle? Do I want to believe maintaining is hard? Do I want to? No, because that's not what I want. And remember, as within, so without. So when I was believing all of these beliefs, that's exactly what I was getting in my 3D. I changed my beliefs, my 3D changed. And I'm a perfect example of that. See all my before and afters. And realize, guys, I've been struggling with my weight loss since I was 13 years old, since I was in 8th grade. It was wild. Maybe even a little bit before that, here and there, but where I really became hyper aware of my weight and how I looked and my body and how I felt in my skin, 8th grade, 13 years old. When did I get my shit together, so to speak? 2013. So if we're talking about 8th grade, I was 13. So that is 1998. 1998. Fast forward to 2013 is when I really did the low carb diet for the first time, lost weight for my wedding back then. And then I lost weight again after my son. It was easier. And then after my daughter, when everyone told me in 2020, when everyone told me, good luck with that, girl, you're never going to lose the weight. I had a nurse in my doctor's office tell me that. And I was like 205 and she's like, yeah, it's hard. It's so hard. Oh, is it, Tanya? Like, no, it's not. And so that was when I was like, you don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know who you're talking to. Nurse Tanya. I don't even know if that's her name, but it's just the first name that popped into my head. But we have to not let that affect us. And that was my easiest and fastest weight loss journey of the three after I had my daughter. And it's all documented on YouTube, actually. If you want to watch it, I've got a playlist for my second one after I had my son. That was 2018. And then after I had my daughter in 2020, and that was COVID. That was when everybody was like, let's pour wine at 3 p.m. and let's eat the chips. We're not leaving the house. Like, it was a mess. So I even did it like during one of the times when a lot of people were kind of like letting loose and saying, I can't do this. That's when I like buckled down and did it. And it was the fastest weight loss journey I ever had. And I credit that all to my mindset 130%, a million percent. So look at it. What is this? Is this true? Do I want to believe this? What feels better to believe? And that's how you can get your mindset to kind of start thinking outside of the box of what the normal is for you. Because normal for you, if you were anything like me or whatever you have written down, normal for you is that. Those beliefs that are holding you back, that is what you believe. So we have to kind of like tear you away from that because we got to start distancing ourselves from that. But I don't expect you to go from weight loss comes off really slow for me to I can lose weight so fast. I lose 2 pounds a day. Everything is great and sunshine. No, you can't. You're not going to get there from there. So don't expect yourself to do that either. So that's why the bridge is what feels better for me to believe. Well, it feels better for me to believe that number one, I can actually do this. Whereas maybe before I didn't even believe health was possible for me. But now you've got me thinking, can I actually do this? Well, that would feel good if I could believe that. It would feel good if I could believe in myself. If I could, it would feel really good to lose a couple pounds a week. It would feel really good to believe I could physically do that. It would feel really good to want to eat the healthier foods. It would feel really good for me to stay on plan and have it feel natural and not so forced, right? See where I'm going with this? What feels better to believe? Go through each of your bullet points and say, what would feel better? What would be a better thought? And you don't have to get from here to here. You don't have to, rainbows and sunshine. It's just like you just got to feel a little bit better. What feels better and what can your brain go, I can actually believe that. I think I could believe that. And then lastly, reframe that whole first statement. What do I actually want to be true? You don't have to believe it. It's not what do I believe now magically. It's what do I actually want to be true about this statement? So, take your first initial statement. Weight loss is hard. Weight loss is hard. Weight loss is hard. Like just look at that as a general one. What do I actually want to be true? I want weight loss to feel exciting. I want weight loss to feel transformational. I was thinking of a good word. That's a good one. Transformational to me says I'm seeing the changes, I'm feeling the changes, I'm seeing my pants get looser, I'm seeing I have more energy, I'm feeling like I can run up the stairs and I'm not as winded as I normally am. And you're like, who is this person? I had a moment of that and I loved it. That's what this is about. What do I actually want to believe is true? What do I actually want to be true? What's that perfect thing? Not, I believe it right now in this moment because we're just doing this exercise, but what feels like a little bit of a long shot. What do you want? What's the end goal? Once you get that out on your journal, it'll kind of look like columns, right? Set it up like that. Reframe your thoughts like this. What is the thought? Is this true? Do I want to believe this? Most of the time, it's a no if it's on the list. What feels better to believe? What feels like one step better, two steps better? Not a stretch, just a little bit. And then what do I actually want to be true about that initial statement? This is so good. This is so powerful. So powerful. And what I like to do too is I'll usually sit down. When I sat down to do this, I would get like maybe 4 or 5 things that kind of like came right into my head. But then once you pose the question to your brain about what are the things that don't align with where I'm going? Perfect snake energy, perfect releasing exercise for these next 3 weeks. Once I started thinking about it and get my brain to go, huh, think about this, all of a sudden I'd be like washing the dishes and I'd be like, oh, there's another thought. And I would like jot it down. And then there's another thought and I would jot it down. I'd be in the shower and I'd be like, oh, I got to write this down. And then when I was ready, I would go back to my journal with these thoughts that came into my head throughout the day. And I would do this again. Is this true? Do I want it to believe it? What feels better? What do I actually want to be true? And it's so powerful. So let this be an ongoing exercise for you to work through the basically limiting beliefs, is really what this is. We want to take the thoughts that don't align with where we're going and we want to reframe them. We want to release anything that's not coming with us into this fire horse energy, which is full of transformation, which is why I cannot wait for February. February's theme, by the way, is losing 10 pounds. We are losing 10 pounds in February. Follow me, I'll show you the way. But it starts now because if we can release all of these negative limiting beliefs now, when you get into February and you get into that energy that's mid-February, you guys, magic, magic, magic. Use it. Reflect, let it go. And so now the second half of this, I really want you to start realizing that the mindset work is one thing, but the mindset work is like setting the foundation and then we got to like build the house, right? Nothing crazy, just like a little cabin we're gonna build, nothing nuts, but we have to put the foundation down first, and when you set the foundation for your mindset, then the house goes up really easy. If you're building on sand, that house is gonna crumble. So if you try this is a great metaphor. If you try to do all these action steps without tackling the mindset and all of these little beliefs that you've got going on about weight loss, and you try to start again without a solid foundation, try to build a house literally on sand. It just like just like the sand's always moving. But if you've got a solid concrete foundation, that is just it's so good. You build a house on that and you're good to go. That's the difference. So the next part of this is like let's start building the house. We do the mindset work, yeah, but like what about our everyday lives? And I've had a couple of you guys and a couple of actually other people in my DMs messaging me about, okay, like, but then how do I put this to use? This is how. So we want to practice this. So everything that we're reframing is so that the action steps get easier, but we still have to do something. We still have to put in action. It's not like we're not going to be tempted. We're not going to be tempted to fall off our diet when we get stressed. We're not going to be tempted to eat, the candy in the pantry when no one's listening or no one's looking. We're still going to get these things coming into our brain because we still have to live our lives and our life isn't going to stop. We're still going to get stressful situations. Our kids are still going to get sick. We're still going to get projects at work. We're still going to have to stay late. We're going to have to wake up early. Like we're going to be stressed. We're going to be overwhelmed. The state of this country right now is out of control. And if you watch the news, I highly recommend not doing that, but you're going to see it because even I see it on social media and I'm like, holy, what is going on? So, how do we live our lives but still adhere to having goals, not self sabotaging? We have to practice what we're doing. We still have to put in the effort for that. The effort gets easier when you do the mindset work first. Like I said, the house goes up easier when you've got a foundation. But now let's start building the house. So, let's put this all to practical use. We've got to pattern interrupt. And what that means is if you're finding that the same thing keeps sabotaging you, we need to pattern interrupt it. We need to stop what you're doing in that moment and not do what you've always done because your body is going to go there. Your body's going to say, oh, I'm stressed. I'm getting home from work and now I'm going to go and I'm going to sabotage myself in whatever way that means to you. Ordering takeout, eating the chips, eating the ice cream, eating too much, binging, all of it. So we have to stop the cycle. It's not just like, oh, I'm stressed, pantry. It's like, no, you have to stop it in the moment. And remember, your body is going to keep doing what it's always done because that's what it deems as safe. And we talked about this a lot last week. That's why last week and this week are going to be like BFFs because the conversations are kind of layered onto each other, but we're tackling it in a little bit of a different way. So Your body's going to keep doing what it's always done. That's why the pattern interrupt has to come in. We have to do something differently in that moment. So remember, there is action that has to be taken. Just because you sat down with your journal and you journaled all this out doesn't mean that now everything is like free flowing, because we have to show our mind and our mindset and our brain that we're serious about the changes that we're making. Because when we first start to think that new thought, that whole like, what do I actually want to be true from the journaling? We're going to start thinking that. But our brain is going to say, well, wait, this is still a new concept for us. Are we doing it the old way still, where weight loss is a struggle? Or are we now believing it can be easy because we have so much proof and evidence all over the place that it is? Which one? Like, which one are we believing? So you've got to repeatedly choose the new thought. So when you wrote down, what do I actually want to be true in your day to day life, you've got to choose that new thought. So I have a great example. When I was growing up in my mom's backyard, there's two flower beds that were like outlined with rocks. And there was all these plants in it. They were humongous, like big, huge flower beds. And we would ride our bikes because there was like a little mini hill. So we would ride our bikes down the hill around, and we would go around like a figure eight around these flower beds. And so as kids, we were outside, we were doing that every day in the summer, like every day. And where there was grass in our whole backyard, you could easily see the bike trail from us going around these same circles over and over and over again. And the grass didn't grow there and it became our bike path, right? Well, that was then, that was 1995, literally. And now, however many years later that is, literally it's the grass has grown in. Like, I looked out, in my mom's backyard when I was over there last, and it's just grass. It's just a backyard because no one's riding their bike on those paths anymore. Think about your brain and your neural pathways in your brain. You ever seen like the thing where like they're all like kind of connect together and they're like it's all like electric and everything. You've got this one connects to this one and this one connects to this one and this one connects to this one and so on, right? And then so if we're going to go and we're going to change our neural pathway and we're going to break it up, and maybe we dissolve that one and we go to this one, right? So now these two are together. So we're creating a new neural pathway. That's just like the grass. So we have solidified weight loss is hard, weight loss is hard. And we've dug this neural pathway into our brain, into our mindset. We've connected this path, right? That you can see very clearly. So now when we decide we're going to shift it, we're going to start believing something else, that path is still, it's like, it's still hovering around. So really, we've got to tell our brain, no, we need to let the grass grow in and we need to create this new neural pathway where weight loss can be easy, where weight loss can be fun, where weight loss can be so transformational and so exciting every day that we love the journey. It doesn't have to be hard and a struggle. So you've got to give yourself time to metaphorically let that bike path grow in, because we're not beating the drum of weight loss being hard anymore. We're going to let that grow in. But in the meantime, we've got to tell ourselves that in our real life. So that's where the pattern interrupt comes. And that's how you create a new neural pathway, because you have to tell your brain, no, we're not believing that anymore. So choosing the new thought repeatedly is what we have to do. However, this doesn't take long. This doesn't take long at all, actually. This can actually be a very quick process because you're literally telling your brain, no, we're not doing that anymore. So if you start thinking thoughts of lack in that exact moment, you can be like, nope, not doing that anymore. Like, I want to believe this can be easy. Therefore, I do. And it is. Sorry, brain, we're not believing that anymore. And it's as easy as that. Because remember, if you're anything like me, when I was doing this work, I was so sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. So I was just like ready to believe the new thought so much because I'm like, I believed this old thought for so long and it literally kept me stuck for so long. I'm done with you. So when my brain would be like, don't you want to believe that weight loss is a struggle and this is hard and you're never going to get there and just have the cake? I was like, no, forget you for real, because you don't help me. I want to believe this new thought because I want something different in my life, as within, so without. So I want these new results. I want transformation. I want to love this journey. I want to lose the pounds and keep them off. So sorry, old thought, like you're old news. I'm not believing you anymore because I need to try something different. And that was kind of how I bridged the gap too, was I said a lot to myself, like, what do I have to lose kind of thought. I was like, I believed this for so long and it brought me that. So I'm just going to believe in the new thought and let's see what happens. And so that's where the beauty of this can really be fun because it's like a game. And it is a game, sadly. It's your brain. It's your game. It's the game your brain likes to play. So instead, let's just say, you know what? I did that for so long and it didn't work. So I'm just trying something different and just see what happens. So I have an example for you guys about how to put this into practical use in your day. Like, let's start practicing this. So an example is, which so many people were messaging me about this, so I know it's prevalent right now. Nighttime sabotage. So you're doing well all day long, and then all of a sudden night hits. Psychologically, what's happening is your brain finally feels safe to process your day, to process your emotions. Does anybody else feel like this feels very valid, feeling very seen? Because when you go throughout your day, you're processing as things come at you. You're like, okay, 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 okay. Then finally nighttime hits and you're like, exhale. You're like, okay, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And all of a sudden you start processing the day. Oh my gosh, this happened today. Oh my gosh, I got to do this for tomorrow. Oh my gosh, this was really overwhelming. This really stressed me out. Today was a stressful day. I was not a good mom as not as good of a mom as I thought I should be. I messed up here. I did that. And we start processing the day. So normal. That's how your brain works. However, once you know that, then you can take steps to use it to your advantage, right? And of course, your food noise is going to get loud because you're processing your day finally. Holy crap, today was really stressful. I just ate my dinner an hour ago, but like, where's the pantry? Like, I need to self soothe. I need the chips. I need the pretzels. I need the snacky thing. I need the candy. I need the ice cream. I need something to soothe me because now I am stressed, or now I'm sad, or now I need to be comforted. And if you've always gone to food to do that, here's where you got to do practically, you got to do everything we've been talking about this week and last week. Have to pattern interrupt. And actually, guys, I saw it was so good. I saw this child psychologist on, I think it was Instagram, but she was talking about how, do you ever notice that your kids are so chatty at night? And she's like, I used to think that my, kids were so chatty at night because they just wanted to stay up late and, they wanted to prolong the bedtime routine and they just wanted to like, they had all this energy that they weren't tired yet. She's like, no, neurologically, kids are more chatty at night because they're processing their day. And I'm like, this is amazing because this is what adults do too. Just because we grow up doesn't mean we outgrow these things that are in our brain. So, and my kids are like this too. My son more so than my daughter, but he just wants to tell me everything at nighttime for an hour. And it's like so cool now that I don't I'm not like, I don't judge it, and I know exactly what it is. I know that he's finally able to process his day. So to me, I'm just like, "Whoa, how cool is it to realize that?" So don't punish your kids if you're watching this. Don't punish your kids if they're doing that. Maybe set a bedtime a little bit earlier so you leave time for him or her to do this, to process their day. And it's actually kind of magical when you can look at it from this lens. But if you don't have kids, realize that you're an adult, yes, but you're doing the same thing. Your brain is still doing the same thing. It's like the come down from the day. It's so cool. So once you realize this about yourself, how do we pattern interrupt? We name it. We call it what it is. We stop ourselves from going directly to the pantry because we're feeling stressed because today was stressful or we deemed it stressful, right? Because it's all about perspective too. So this is where the magic happens. I wrote that in big letters because this is literally how you take the journaling and the mindset rewiring and the neural pathways with the bike trail, and we actually start believing the new thought and creating a new neural pathway, letting that grass grow in on the old one. And this is exactly what you do. This is the process. Name out loud what is happening. Oh my God, I'm so stressed. I need to go to the pantry. Whoop, pause, pattern interrupt that pattern. Wait, I know what this is. I'm processing. I'm processing my day. And my day was, say this out loud, and my day was stressful. Of course, I want to go to food because that's how I relieve my stress. Oh, sometimes that's enough. Once you do this a couple of times, you will be able to stop right there because you'll be like, oh, I get it. My brain is just doing that thing it does. It's just processing and it's stressful day. So of course I want food because I always go to food when I'm stressed, but I don't do that anymore, right? So then talk yourself through it. And the key phrase here is I'm not doing that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I don't go to food to heal my stress, to soothe my stress, to calm me down, to ease my anxiety, to comfort me, to make me happy when I'm sad. I don't do that anymore. Say it out loud with me right now. I don't do that anymore. Boom. Brain, tell it in that moment. I'm not doing that anymore. You pattern interrupting, naming it for what it is, telling your brain, no, 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 this is literally this is a program. We are stopping it. We are not going forward. This is not what I do anymore. This is just me trying to ease my stress. And we're not doing that anymore because it doesn't work. That's why we're not doing it anymore because it literally doesn't work. It makes you feel worse. It ruins your progress, yada, yada, yada. So, this is all for good measure, right? Talk yourself through it, break the pattern, and then you go do something else. You go do something else. You get out of that kitchen, go clean something, go organize something, go read a book, go meditate, go talk to your kids, go read a book to your kids, go and take a bath, take a shower, do a face mask. What I like to do, this just worked for me. I don't know if this is, whatever for everybody, but I would go and put on white strips on my teeth because I would want to do that. Or I would put on a face mask or like a mouth tape, or some people have Invisalign. I had one client, she lost like 30 pounds when she got Invisalign. And she's like, now I have the mindset for when I'm done with my Invisalign, I am not going to go back to food. And we did everything that we're doing here now. But it's like stopping yourself from physically being able to put the food in your mouth. Sometimes you need that. These are just things that worked for me and people that I've worked with. So think about that. What can you do to literally get out of that pattern? And here's the kicker. Is it hard the first time to not do the thing that has always self-soothed you? Sometimes, yes, but you have to. You have to. Because remember, put yourself back in the driver's seat of your journey too. No one's making you ease your stress with food. No one is, there's other ways to do it, but you also have to make the decision to not do what you've always done. And that's kind of where you got to take your control back too. It's like you can keep doing what you've always done and keep getting the results that you've always gotten. So as within, so without. So if you're going to keep doing what you're doing, nothing's going to change. So that's why, yeah, the first time it might be like, oh, crawling out of my skin. I just want that food. But you've got to pattern interrupt. You've got to do these steps and you've got to do something else. Break the pattern. And then the second time you do it, so much easier. I will go as far as to say 75% easier the second time. Third time, 100% easier, literally. Then by the third time, you're probably good. You probably don't need to do it anymore because remember, this is your brain. This is not you needing food, needing the snacks. It's like, no, like that's just the actions that it's just the process. It's your brain telling you this is what we need. This is what we need. And when you kind of step back from it and you go, no, actually, like this doesn't serve me. This doesn't get me what I want. Your brain kind of goes, oh, okay. Once you challenge the thought once, it gets easier by a mile the second time and the third time. So that's why, like, yeah, the first time it might be like a little uncomfortable, but have a plan in place, know what you're going to do, and just execute it. Do it. Just do it, do it, do it. So break the pattern and it gets easier each time. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. Perfect. We're just at 44. And leave me down in the comments any questions. And if you want to reframe your thoughts, if you need help reframing your thoughts for what do I actually want to believe, and you're like, how do I change this into something I want to believe? Comment it down below. That's what this whole container is for. Anytime you guys comment on any of my videos that are members only, that alerts me right away on YouTube. Like it gets brought to the top, like top priority, high priority. So when you comment, even if it's on an old video, I see it right away. and I will answer you as soon as I can because I want to support you in any way that I can. And I really want to make this whole container a community for you. So, any questions you have, post them here. Please don't DM me questions, especially on Instagram, because I'm not going to get like it's just too hard for me. I get too many messages and then they get lost. And I don't want you to think I'm not seeing them. Come here. Come here because this is truly the container. This is the place where it's my top priority every day. I'm creating content and editing all day. I've got so many good things coming. So come here as your default place to comment. Even if it's on an old video and you've got a new question, just comment it and I can address it. And I can, of course, make it into something that we talk about here. I can do a live on it, I can do a video on it. So, this is definitely the place where you're going to get the best attention from me because that's what I want this container to be. I want you to get the access to me. So, all that said, hope you guys have an amazing, amazing day. Remember, use this energy that we've got in the next couple of weeks to your advantage. And don't feel bad if you're still releasing, if you're still shedding. We're still in that season. But then remember, we are catapulting into the year of the fire horse on February 17th. Action, expansion, confidence. Right. So we want to honor the snake right now, but just know that where we're going is even better. So use this energy right now to release, get rid of all of these limiting beliefs that just don't serve us. Oh no, what happened to my mouse? I'm not going to be able to end the live stream. Hold on, let me plug it in real quick and I'll keep rambling until it charges for a minute. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see. But use this energy because we really need to, and let me reiterate while this is charging for a second, to what patterns are you ready to leave behind? And everything we talked about today, these are all just patterns. And that's the best part about it is like, this is not a life sentence. Just because you grew up thinking something doesn't mean you need to keep doing it. But it's also like, you can't willpower your way out of conditional thinking, which is like, I've been thinking this since I was 5 years old. Yeah, you're probably going to continue to think it then until we pattern interrupt and do this kind of mindset work. But this really is the work that's going to change your whole life. And that's why I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter if this is your 1500th weight loss journey. This time gets to be different because you're doing it differently and you're reframing your mindset. So you're not building another weight loss journey on sand. You're not building another house on the sand. You're now building with a concrete foundation that's going to really change everything for you. Change everything. Because that's what we want, right? That's what we want for us. We want this journey to be different than all the rest. In order to do that, we've got to do the work. There we go. Oh my God. I was going to say, here's the mouse. We got to do the work so that things get to be different. So leave your comments, leave your questions, and I will see you guys with the next live stream. Also be on the lookout. I'm going to be posting, I got to figure out how to do it, posting the calendar for February. The theme is self-love because it is February, but we're also going to be focusing on losing 10 pounds in February. So if you're here for that, let's do this. And really what February is going to be about is solidifying all of our habits to get the best results possible, whether that's weight loss, maintenance, whatever it is. That's what we're going to be focusing on with a key focus on self-love, because if we don't love ourselves, it's hard to stick to goals because we've got to pour into ourselves first. So be on the lookout for that. And I will see you guys super soon, but have a great day. Have a great weekend.